Welcome to episode 3 of the 99 Till Infinity Show. I'm your host, Nigel Cooper, and we got an episode today mostly about the music. We're going to talk about Ice Cube's America's Most Wanted, investing in the music industry, DJ Akademiks getting banned from Twitch, Mac Miller's Balloonerism, and then we're going to get into the hip hop homework and my political take. Let's get into it. This episode's classic album is America's Most Wanted by Ice Cube. It's his solo debut album, and it was his first album that he released after leaving NWA. It was released in 1990. The production is handled by West Coast producer Sir Jinx and the East Coast production team, the Bomb Squad, who worked heavily with Public Enemy. And the album has features from Chuck D and Flavor Flav. The album is telling stories and rapping about the realities of living in the hood while giving a young black man's opinions on social and global issues. He talks about the media's portrayal of black youth, harassment from police, relationships and regard for women, and other issues. Listening to this album definitely makes me understand the war on rap at the time. During the late 80s and the early to mid 90s, there was a lot of attempted censorship of rap groups like 2 Live Crew and NWA, eventually Tupac and Snoop Dogg, and hip hop was being demonized even by black people. But hip hop was still relatively new at the time, and a lot of the things that were being said, I could definitely understand were jarring. My first time listening to this album, some of the things that Ice Cube said, I was like, yo, chill. But it's freedom of expression, and at the same time, people say crazier things on records. This album is real, it's unapologetic, it's raw, and to the uncultured ear, it's radical. This album doesn't promote gangbanging, it doesn't promote drug use, it actually has messages saying the opposite. But to many of the white class and to the ruling class at that time, if your kids really listen to the messages, they will look at the American system differently. While I wouldn't call this album radical, simply reading into the concepts that are being discussed in the music will lead to a political awakening in the young mind. I'm not going to talk about every song on the album, but I am going to talk about my favorite songs and my favorite moments. Once Upon a Time in the Projects. This is a story where he was going to pick up a girl from her crib, take her on a date, right? But he's waiting for her to get ready. He meets everyone in her family and puts 2 and 2 together like, yo, this is a crack house. And then the crack house gets raided by the police. He ends up getting arrested along with the girl and her family, and he spends 2 weeks in jail. He beats the case, but moral of the story, don't mess with a girl from the projects. The song You Can't Fade Me. So Ice Cube is sleeping with this girl, she's a neighborhood bop. She ends up pregnant and says that the baby's his. And he contemplates a lot of things. One of the things he contemplates is kicking her in the stomach. That was crazy. But then he said, no, there's consequences for my actions. I would go to jail for homicide. So then he doesn't do that, and he drinks to cope with that. Eventually the baby's born, there's a DNA test, it's not his baby. And he's happy, he's celebrating. Within his celebration, he says something to the effect of, I should have shot you for trying to play me. Again, wild bar. I understand feeling that way. Just a wild bar to say in a rap song. And then there's a skit. This is one of my favorite parts of the album. There's a skit called The Drive-By. And they go and do a drive-by. But the music that they're playing in the background is Bust a Move. Like, what you want, you got it. Just bust a move. Like that song. And it's like, y'all was doing drills, because that's a drill. A drive-by is a drill. Y'all was doing drills to bust a move. And so it just makes you think about, they say that hip-hop is poison in the community. They say that gangster music, drill music is causing kids to do this. When really, people was doing drive-bys to the Isley Brothers in the 70s. I'm sure people was doing drive-bys to the Jackson 5 at this point, you feel me? I think it's the societal conditions that make people act the way they do, not necessarily the music. The music is a reflection of what's already going on. Then we get to the song A Gangsta's Fairy Tale. This is Ice Cube talking to the kids, remixing fairy tale stories like they happened in the hood, saying how they should have gone. So he remixes Jack and Jill, Disney princesses, Little Red Riding Hood, Humpty Dumpty, Three Little Pigs, Mr. Rogers, all of that. It's a dope song. The song "What They Hitting For." There's a lot of beat switches. This is one of my favorite songs production wise. And he's rapping about being in a dice game. People think because he's a rapper, he's soft, and he's like, nah, I'm running up the score in this. I'm running up the score in this dice game. I'm taking my money. Ain't nobody finna rob me when I leave with my winnings. Um, Another really dope song is "Who's the Mac." "Who's the Mac?" In the first verse, he's talking about a slick talking pimp. In the second verse, he's talking about homeless people begging for money every day for food, and then they take your money and get high with it. And then in the third verse, he's talking about a slick talking guy who he might be promising a relationship with a girl, but then he hits it and quits it, right? And so he's basically saying anybody who can manipulate you with your words, they're the Mac. And don't fall for these situations. That's the moral of the story. The song "Endangered Species" featuring Chuck D. This song is about how the media portrays black youth. Um, it starts off basically with a news report saying that young black men have been added to the endangered species list and the government is not doing anything about it. Um, there's raps about police killing and abusing us. And Ice Cube says that he can't worry about freeing Africa. He's trying to get us free here. The song "Turn Off the Radio." So it starts off with a message to the Oreo cookie. And it's a white guy saying, "Go back to Africa." Essentially saying that you a nigga at the end of the day, and that you'll never be accepted fully by white people. It's also about the radios and record labels not playing West Coast artists, not playing Ice Cube specifically, and saying fuck the industry. And then the song "It's a Man's World." It's Ice Cube and the female rapper Yo Yo. They're going back and forth. Ice Cube says a lot of misogynistic things in this album. So for him to do this song, where he's saying a lot of misogynistic things, but he's rapping it alongside a woman who's challenging everything that he's saying. And the fact that he put this on the album is kind of like a Kendrick Lamar moment to me, to where you recognize that this is an issue. You participate in this, which you recognize is wrong, and it looks like you're taking a step to challenge yourself and be better in the future, right? That's kind of what I get from it. Because I feel like if you didn't have any respect for women, or if you didn't have any respect for female rappers, you wouldn't have made this song in the first place. Overall, I understand why this is a classic album. I think that Kendrick Lamar on Good Kid, Mad City definitely took some inspirations from this project. And I'm not as connected to all the West Coast rappers, but there's definitely a bunch of artists in between 1990 and Good Kid, Mad City came out in 2012. So there's definitely a lot of West Coast artists that took direction from America's Most Wanted and subsequent Ice Cube projects. I very much enjoyed this listen. For the next classic hip hop album that we'll talk about in episode 4, we're gonna go with Missy Elliott, "Super Duper Fly." Now let's talk about investing in the music industry. So Roc Nation is partnering with South Korean company Musical to launch a music royalties trading platform. The new platform is scheduled to launch in the first quarter of 2025, and it will allow music rights owners to securely fractionalize royalty revenue from their songs and sell shares, enabling fans to earn alongside them. Musical purchases the copyright of a song from its original creator and splits the rights into smaller portions, allowing members on the platform to buy shares in the copyright royalties. The service is similar to what is currently offered by JKBX, also known as Jukebox, which has already established itself in the market. Through Jukebox, users can buy royalty stake in hit records written and/or recorded by various superstar songwriters and artists, ranging from Beyonce to Timbaland to the Jonas Brothers and others. Roc Nation said its partnership with Musical will allow superfans to earn revenue alongside their favorite artists by introducing music royalties as an alternative asset class. Now, this isn't all that new. Bay Area artist LaRussell has been doing this since 2021. He has a company called Good Company, and through it, he negotiates directly with you so you can make an offer to him for a percentage of one of his songs, and he will negotiate directly with you about the ownership of that. So, if you wanted to get 50% of one of his songs, you would make an offer for how much money that would be, how much you think that should be, and you leave your contact information on the form that he has on his website, and y'all talk it out, come agree on terms, you pay, and then you'll get your royalties for the rest of your life. Nipsey Hussle had tried this before he passed away. It was a company called Vest, and it's similar to what these other companies, Jukebox and Musical, are offering. Now, the issue with Vest is that a lot of people say that it was a great idea, but the execution failed. The song selection wasn't that good, according to the users, and the company leadership wasn't paying people out. So these are certain things that I think Rock Nation and Musical can avoid because they're a bigger platform. And if Jay-Z's gonna be doing business with you, you better have your stuff straight. Now, with that being said, what music would you invest in? Me personally, if I could have invested in Good Kid, Mad City, I would have. That album has been on the charts ever since it came out. It's been, 12, 13 years now, and it's still on the charts. I would also invest in a song like a Christmas song, Mariah Carey, All I Want for Christmas. Every single year, in the fourth quarter, you gonna get some bread. You feel me? From 2024, I would have definitely invested in the songs from The Beef, mostly Not Like Us and Euphoria. Those songs are gonna be played for a very long time. There's a lot of money still to be made from those songs. Shabuzi was at the top of the charts with a bar song. That's the song that you want to invest in. And then I would have also any song that I think could be played at a graduation, at a wedding, at a funeral. Those types of songs get played every single day by thousands of people, hundreds of thousands of people. Money to be made. So I'm definitely interested in what Rock Nation and Musical are gonna do. I'm gonna invest. Maybe not a lot to start, but I wanna own something. I got a couple stocks here and there, and my mom, she's trying to get me into the REITs, the real estate investment trust. So there's things that are reliable that you should put your money into. I would not put my life savings into this and expect to make a bunch of money. But I do think that there are songs that you can make money off of without having to put $1,000 up. I think you can put a couple $100 into a song like Not Like Us and get $25, $30, $40 every couple months, every quarter. And after a couple years, you would make a good profit from that. It's definitely something where if you're big money, you would actually see income from this. If you're little money like me, you want to be incremental with it, and you want to be very strategic with the songs that you select. In fact, your first investment should be with an Apple, Microsoft, one of those type of companies, as opposed to my favorite Kendrick Lamar song. You know what I'm saying? But it's something fun. It's something that I'm interested in, and it's something that I'm gonna do. Now let's talk about DJ Akademiks. He recently got banned from the live streaming platform Twitch, and official reason hasn't been given, but DJ Akademiks recently went viral for inappropriate conversations him and his friends were having with a 15-year-old boy. And yeah, if you listen to those audios, it's very disturbing. It shouldn't be surprising though. He has a pattern and history of doing this. The only surprising part, I guess, is it's a 15-year-old boy as opposed to a 15-year-old girl. But he's been in the DMs of teenagers before, and those teenagers have posted screenshots of those DMs. He has tweeted that Bad Baby is developed for her age. You feel what I'm saying? Um, he has a weird case. He was accused of taking things from a woman after his friends did it. You feel me? So it's like, are we surprised? I personally feel like he should have been left. He should have been kicked off of every platform. Um, I don't feel that he contributes anything to the culture in the first place. And even if he did, his vile actions have negated all of that. Um, People like DJ Academics, people like Adam 16 are the worst people in hip hop media to me. Not only are they predators, actually, yeah, we can leave it there. They're predators. We don't even have to talk about the merits of their work. They're predators. They need to be out of here. We need to hold people accountable for their actions. You feel me? Lil Pump straight up told us that while he was 16 years old, Adam 2022 was his manager, that they were sleeping with the same girls. That Adam 16 would be on the couch. We got videos of Adam 16 on the couch fondling young girls. He still has a platform. People still mess with him. These are issues. Personally, I'm leaving them. I haven't watched their content. I react to some of their content, but I haven't watched them since 2022. Yeah, I feel like we just need to leave them alone. Just block them on all platforms, mute them on social media, leave them in the past, because all they do is incite street shit and prey on younger people, and it's disgusting. And let's pivot back to the music and talk about Mac Miller's posthumous album, Balloonerism. Mac Miller is rapping with his melancholy delivery over a mix of jazzy instrumentation and piano chops. Now, normally I'm not that big of a fan of posthumous albums. I feel like a lot of them are money grabs. They feel rushed, they feel unfinished. It feels like the rapper that passed away recorded an idea, recorded a verse, and then the label said, let's take this, add this famous rapper as a feature, or add this famous rapper on the hook, and then we'll master it and release it. Not a big fan of that. And this album didn't make me feel that way. And I looked some things up. Apparently a good amount of these songs had already leaked, and that this version just sounds like a mastered version of the leaked songs. So I think Mac Miller's estate is handling things very well. Some of my favorite songs on the album, DJ's Chord Organ. SZA sounds like she did back when she dropped Z, like her first project. Very good song. $5 Pony Ride, I feel like that song could be performed at a tiny desk. That song is a vibe. Another song that can be performed at a tiny desk is Rick's Piano. Very emotional track. Funny Papers is one of my favorite songs on the album, as well as Friendly Hallucinations. Miss Deborah Downer, I think the first verse on that song might be the best verse on the album. And the last track, Tomorrow We'll Never Know. It's 11 minutes long. It needs to be on a movie score. It needs to be on a soundtrack, because it keeps you engaged the entire time, but it changes the feeling throughout. At the 6-minute mark and the 9-minute mark, he's snoring, and everything before that, in between, you feel like you're on the trip with him. Whatever he took, you're on that ride with him. That's how the production of the song feels. I think we're gonna get at least one more, maybe two more posthumous Mac Miller albums in the next couple of years, because from what I read, he's got a project with Pharrell finished. He's got a project with Madlib. Hopefully it wasn't burned in the fire that happened at Madlib's crib from the LA fires. Apparently he had music with TDE and the Black Hippie guys that is unreleased. We'll probably never hear that stuff. But there's a lot of music that he had unreleased that apparently he did intend to release in the future. let's get into my political take. This episode's political take is, are we not noticing the parallels to 1930s Germany right now? Are we purposely ignoring this? Because people are getting deported, right? They're not going to be able to deport everybody. A lot of private prisons stocks are going up. A lot of facilities are being built right now. Native Americans, they was here before us. They was here before the white folk. Native Americans are being detained by ICE. Where are they gonna go? They're not gonna get sent to another country. They probably gonna get sent to one of those private prisons. What is something that's allowed under the 13th Amendment? Slavery. They're gonna imprison people and put them to work. These are gonna be work camps. It's already happening in our regular prison system. It's already happening with the private prisons. I mean, half the people fighting the California wildfires were prisoners that were not being paid properly. Alabama has a convict leasing program. Multiple states have convict leasing programs. So slavery is still alive and well in America. But think about this. When they take all the illegal immigrants who their pay is exploited, so a whole lot of goods and services, our food, among other things, are using this cheap labor. So if these people get deported or they're scared to go to work and they don't show up, a lot of food is going to rot. It's going to be a lot less food that makes it to the store. That's going to make demand go up. So that means prices are going to go up. Okay. Then on top of that, the waste is going to go up because of all the food that spoils that doesn't get picked. So that's a cost that's going to increase the prices because people are going to want to keep their profit margins. Okay. And then if you hire Americans to do those jobs, you're going to have to pay them at least the minimum wage, which is twice what you're paying the immigrant worker. And shoot, a lot of people are going to demand even more than that. So if you have to pay people actual pay, it's going to increase the price of the goods and services again. On top of that, we got tariffs on the way. So that's going to increase the prices of things. So you could get a pack of strawberries from, California in plastic packaging, and you could pay $16, $17 for those strawberries. You're not going to want to do that, are you? But then they're going to say, hey, wait, instead of deporting everyone, we already got them in these facilities. Let's make them do the work. A whole lot of people, and I promise you, a whole lot of people are going to be just fine with that. I'm pretty sure California voted to keep slavery in the state. I'm pretty sure that slavery was on the ballot in California in this last election. In California, liberal state, and they voted to keep it. So, yeah, I'm worried that there's going to be concentration camps in the United States again. Yeah. Well, yeah, again, because they had them for the Japanese. History repeats itself. Isn't that crazy? Now let's talk about hip hop homework. Last episode's homework was to listen to an artist that you've never listened to before. Listen to their latest release. For me, I chose J Ski's 40 Hours. Turned out to be an EP, 7 tracks, 23 minutes long. Out of the 7 tracks, 5 of them I really enjoyed. My favorite song on the project was Way Up. Round and Round was a great song. FedEx, Balance Inquiry, and Rotary Phone were hard. Jay Skis, he's from Buffalo, New York. He is signed to Conway the Machine's Drumwork label. And when I was listening to it, I was like, yo, he's spitting. He sounded like he linked in with the Griselda guys. That's what he flows like. But when I looked at the credits, it didn't say that, right? So I had to go digging. Yeah, he signed to Conway the Machine's Drumwork Music. And this album's hard. For the next hip hop homework, with Black History Month coming up, let's make a playlist for Black History Month. A playlist showcasing Black pride, Black love, community, social justice, activism, highlighting our leaders from the past, maybe talking about things that need to be going on in the future, right? So songs that I'm thinking of is like Wale's Salary Cap. Rhapsody has an album called Eve, where all the songs are named after black women throughout history. Very dope album. Sia had the Prince, even though it's not on streaming services, he has a mixtape series called Black History that's really on the nose, like very much built for these playlists. Killer Mike, Reagan, a great song. Kendrick Lamar has some songs on To Pimp a Butterfly and Section 80 that I think would apply. Fight the Power by Public Enemy. I just listened to America's Most Wanted. There's songs off that album that could fit for this playlist. Last episode we did Black on Both Sides by Mos Def. There's songs from that album that can fit on the playlist. So definitely, however many songs you want, let's make a playlist for Black History Month. Thank you for watching this episode of the 99 Till Infinity Show. Please leave a like, leave a comment, subscribe, and I'll catch you on the next episode.